Well, all but one horse is done racing, and that's JK Victory. All our hopes of hitting the board or finding a win pitcher tonight lie in Indiana. Just watch Spitfire race, man. In my own arrogance, as he come out of the last turn, this horse is out every turn, parked the whole way, and as he come out of the last turn, I said he's going to win again. You could tell he was trying as hard as he possibly could, going under the wire. Fourth beat, three-quarters of a length, 53, raced huge, and has continued to race huge for quite a while. The one takeaway for me from him is, and I was just saying to Dave, he's sound. Horse, for those of you who even the most novice clients, you've seen him race over the last, since the beginning of the year. He's had his ups and his downs. He's made breaks. And, but I would say 3 of his last 5 or 6 starts, he looked, he had a little head nod. Quarter crack was bothering him. He had one knee that was pinching him. And Stacy had moved with Mark Hurley and Brett and put mushroom bars on him. Remember, we had talked about it, and I said, well, honestly, my shoe of choice in this particular instance is a mushroom bar, but I don't know Spitfire now. I haven't driven him in a long time. I haven't seen him. You guys see him every day. You know, the blacksmith and the veterinarian are both saying the corners of his feet are sore. The vet said more the inside. The blacksmith said all 4, really, which led to me, an obvious choice, the mushroom bar. In his last 2 starts, he's looked great. And although, he get parked, and David just said, geez, he carries a lot of circles on those lines. I said, because he's not handy at the car, right? If we continue to have his feet comfortable, he will get handy at the car. Not drop the lines on the dashboard and snap them over to the front 27. He might not see him get that handy, maybe ever. But he'll be a lot more useful at the gate. I saw Brett had one earplug out going to the gate, and then he did the right thing. He was smart, followed the 8 up, because that gate is there, and sometimes it's a little too tempting, right? We've seen it happen with our horse. I'll tell you what happened with one night was Globetrotting at the 9 hole, and she was like 1-5 in a sire stake race, and she was like maybe her 4th or 5th start lifetime, I think, and she shied away from the gate and made a break. I was so mad, but it can happen. So he drove the horse right, and I don't blame him for not dropping him in the 7 hole. Just, Jeremy's coming. Just keep advancing and grab his cover. He did the right thing. It's just, that's what happens when you're saddled with the 9 hole. Now, hopefully, he was beat out of the 9 hole. Maybe he'll have a little more somewhat open draw, even if they combine like the 6 through 9 draw and then the 1 through 5.
Right.
But don't give him the 9 hole again. Hopefully, you just can't keep racing out of the 9 hole. It's not conducive to a good summer for sure. So Spitfire raced great again. Victory Blue Chip did not. And, again, in the situation I'm in, I'm unapologetic for moving the horse. If we're going to race our horses in any of those races, overnights or stake races, they have to be able to do. Now, I warmed him up. I thought he was trotting good. Felt okay. He's not a stake horse at all. I told Tim, it's very simple. Put him in the maiden claimer. Non-winners a 1, but not more than 3 claimer, I believe he said. And if he does well in those classes, if they want him, go ahead and claim him. I think his tag is like 22 or 25,000. Go ahead. If they don't want him and he wins his way out of that class, then he can race at Northfield. The non-winners a 4. Even though he's not a great horse, even though he's not a stake horse, doesn't mean we can't find a place for Victory Blue Chip. Right horse for the right job. He's a okay horse, but I mean, he was last or second last in the slowest division of the night, I think.
Right.
He's not a sire stake horse. He's not a Stallion Series horse. He's just a horse. But felt confident enough. Felt okay. If we had to race him at Northfield right now, I think he'd get around Northfield. Just put him in where he can do. Well, Tim said there's a non-winners of 1, but not more than 3 maiden claimer. I don't see any reason why he can't race in there. So that's where he'll race next. And then don't talk about Bruno. James was livid, and he made a break at the gate. But truthfully speaking, I know where James is coming from. The horse is 17-1 with the 2 hole. I'm trying to turn lemons into lemonade. Got to get away ahead of the 1. Got to try and get a trip like he did his first start, the 2 or 3 hole. Suck along, grab some money. Because Bruno, too, is just an okay horse. Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Crantini, complete lunatic.
Right.
Macho Martini, complete lunatic. But between the two of them, they made about $700,000 or $800,000 or more.
Right.
Don't Talk About Bruno, sweet little horse, doesn't do very much wrong. Be tough to beat me in a foot race some nights. He's just an okay horse. He's a 2-minute 2-1 trotter right now. That's what he is. So find a place where he only has to trot in 2 minutes or 2-1. It's not rocket science. Trying to fit that old round peg through a square hole. It never fits. Not very often. So I know, and James, he was mad about Hallie, but that's on James, and that's not me making fun of James. You draw the 7 hole and want to be a contender in a stake final at London, you got to get out of there. Hallie in the cloud's just not handy at the gate. It's just not. And as I said in an earlier video, in between pork chops and post braids,
Yes.
Sometimes you got to try and manufacture that speed a little bit, get her on her toes, and get her out of there. So, I told James, I said, Hallie's on you, but I don't blame you. I would have done the same thing, but she was run off her feet. Same with Bruno, and Bruno shouldn't have made a break, probably. What are you going to do? You got the 7 hole and a long shot. Just, it's the way it is. So, what we need to do is get back to this a little bit of foundation work, which is put the horses in where they can win. I had a number of people email me tonight and say, Anthony, for the love of God, Oakwood Cowboy and an 8-claimer. Well, why? I don't know, because he's an 8-claimer. It doesn't matter what we pay for these horses all the time. And it's great. We get on a tear where sometimes the horses all race good. We buy some, they race great. But the nature of the beast is we are going to buy some horses that just don't pan out. And Oakwood Cowboy fits squarely in that column. That's the way it is. Tried to do right by him and give him a rest and bring him back. Then he kind of half-assed hurt himself. Had to give him a little more time, brought him back, qualified him. He was okay. Followed along speed, went 56, 54, but that doesn't mean he's going to go out and cut a mile of it at 54.
Yeah.
He followed a 51 mile and paced 54. There's quite a difference between the two. So where can he do? There was a 20 condition claimer that didn't fill. Dominic said, well, what do you want me to do? Race him at Mohawk? I said, no more racing them over their heads, especially for you. I think you've been beaten up enough.
Yeah.
Find a class he can do in and enter him in that class. Do I want to lose him? No. I don't really care if they take him. At some point, we're going to have to turn the page.
Yeah.
So he wins an 8. Then what do you do? Now we got to find a 10 or hope the 20 condition claimer fills and he fits it. Just try and race them where they can win. Bruno, try to get him in where he can win. Prospect series or a condition claimer somewhere. Just something. And if Bruno's not good enough for the stakes, guess what? He too can join the Northfield ranks. And racing the numbers 2 claimer over here, I guarantee you he can do in there. We just can't have a billion horses in the numbers 2 and 3 claimer at Northfield. We use our heads about this. We need to move our horses around properly. Take a look. Here's the ones that are racing good. Okay, file them under. Great. Here's the ones that are racing bad. How do we fix this? Some of them need to leave, like Japeport Beach Boy and McPaisley, and they will leave on Monday. And some of them just need proper class. This place always is. Oh, I thought it was another accident. It's not. It's construction.
Right construction.
Right construction. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not. It's been every week. I like to put a positive. Say, we had a great week at the races. We had our moments. Not nearly as well as we did last week. Arson won, and all those horses raced good. But Memory and Imagination did not race bad tonight. I don't think. We asked Victory Blue Chip to race in a stake race. He wasn't good enough to race it. We asked Don't Talk About Bruno to race in a race. He wasn't good enough to race in. He made a break. Hallie made a break out of the 7 hole. That will happen. What are you going to do? Spitfire Overseas race good. Hopefully JK Victory races good. Let's focus on the horses that are racing good. Take a look at all the horses that are racing bad and figure out where we can put them. We have horses everywhere. There is no reason that we can't find a class for Bruno to race in. And if I thought it was more beneficial to sell him, he'd be in the sale on Monday. But any trotter that tries and can trot in 59 or 2 minutes, you should be able to find a class for them until they hit the numbers of 4. That's the way it is. So we will continue on. I have Kings County tomorrow. What else do we say we have tomorrow?
I think that's it for you.
We need a bunch going tomorrow, though, I think, don't we?
Kings
Okay.
County Tactical Mounds.
Tactical Mounds. Oh my God, I forgot to mention her like 3 times this week.
Right.
Tactical Mounds is racing at Mohawk, one of our best horses. Yep.
Renegade Gypsy and
Renegade.
Fancy Like.
I'm Renegade Gypsy is a little bit flat right now, but not racing horrible. Just racing a little flat. And I'm Fancy Like's going to struggle again for post 7, I believe. I was supposed to drive that filly. I don't know if I can tomorrow now. Now, it's very kind. I told everybody I'm just going to go drive Kings County, drive to Mohawk, pick up Scotty, Dominic, and Steve Palermo. Then I'm going to drive to Ohio, get in around 1, and do the open house. I don't have a problem with that. And it was actually Steve called me. He goes, actually, you know what? You're crazy. He said, I will just pick up Scotty, and I will just pick up Dominic, and we will all go to Ohio together. All right, cool. As long as Scotty and Dominic and Steve are okay with that, I'm okay with it. And if that's the way it goes, then that's great. I'll drive Kings County, and I'll go back to Ohio, and I'll drive I'm Fancy Like tomorrow night. Now, I'll tell you right now, I'm Fancy Like from post 7.
Yeah.
Tough spot. What's her odds? Probably about 8 to 1 or something.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. I was really hoping you were going to say you're wrong. 5 to 2.
What's the purse?
The purse for her would be what? 11-2.
11. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. But she can do in there. But again, post 7, post 8. She had the 8 hole last week. I think she got all she was going to get for Aaron. She got the 7 hole this week. A very similar type thing. Kind of use a little bit of her speed off the car. See if we can drop in somewhere. I haven't looked at the program. Now, if there's a ton of speed inside, then she's going to have to race from behind. She did. She won first over from Ronnie and that. Now there's a 2 or something. It's a different beast tomorrow. You know, we'll do our damage with her when she draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not a lot of damage to do.
Does she like to get involved early in the race?
You know what she is? She's an okay filly that when you put her in a spot to do well, and she's supposed to, she will. But if you ask her to overachieve, Gaslight comes on pretty quick. That's it. But she's a nice horse. You have to know that going into the race, though. If you know that going into the race, then it's on you if you drive her improperly. Aaron drove her perfect last week. She's never actually been driven poorly. She's a pretty easy filly to get. And you know what the funny thing was? It was funny because sometimes I'm through YouTube and I was just scrolling through her old videos, and I saw one of the early videos. I forgot how sour she was. When we broke her, she was the sourest, most ignorant filly you've ever seen. Like, you couldn't get her to go at all. And it was just chip away, chip away. She wore an open bridle. An open bridle. I mean, well, she couldn't be any lazier than she was with any other bridle on. We put an open bridle on her and just trying to scare her a little bit. She got a little bit better, a little bit better. You never would have convinced anybody. And if you stir her up at the gate, good night. Because she will run off on you. Like, she wears, I believe she wears a snake cord. And if you'd have said that to anybody in the barn in December of her yearling year, this filly's going to need a snake cord race, they would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
She's come a long way, and she's actually a really, really nice filly to drive. When you get her in a hole, she'll drop the bit and follow properly. You know, but if, like, 53 is lots for her. She might get to 53, but she's that horse that'll just be baby steps. You see her go, like, she's won in 54 and 2. She raced great that night, kind of knifed through and won.
Yeah.
She'll go in 54 flat maybe some night. She'll take a good mark on a hot night in a field that's a little vulnerable, but she's not going to do a ton of the heavy lifting and get it done. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. She'll let you know. She doesn't do it to be ignorant. And this is the one thing. She is the same every week. Every week, this is what she'll do. This is the parameters in which I will allow you to race me. And if you behave, if you drive me appropriately, this is what will happen. So she's a nice filly to drive in that regard. So I think that's I can tell you one thing. Fewer people feel more upset right now than Dominic Ledoux, I can tell you that. It's just when you get in a funk like that, oh my God almighty. But I can tell you, the one thing that will take you out of a funk is to clean out the riffraff. And I will do that over the next 10 days. If they're not cutting it, they're going. And that's it. We're in the heat of the summer now. We're about to qualify some pretty talented babies. And by the way, there's going to be some babies that aren't that talented too. Some that I think will be okay, but when you kind of tramp on the gas, there's not a whole lot there. There's going to be a couple of them, I'm sure, too. Creep up on us and break our hearts. Happens every time. And those horses, too, will be leaving.
Yeah.
So this is the time of year where nice sunny day.
It was a nice sunny day.
Yeah, get out the broom. because we're going to start sweeping up, and that's what has to happen. You guys know that too. I can guarantee you, if you ask any horseman that's been around a long time, when you start getting rid of the bad horses in your barn, the good ones just race better. And I don't know why, but that's always the way it is. So that's what's going to go on over the next little while, both in the Meadows and Ontario. If there's horses that can come over and do good, great. If there's horses that can come home and do all right home, then that's fine. And Dominic's 2-year-olds will start racing too also, and he's got some real killers there. Pickpocket is going home, and yes, my partner's Pickpocket will race in the good times, and Dominic will be training. Pickpocket in the good times, and that's how it's going to be. He arrived tonight with Tactical Mounds. Megan dropped them both off. She's going to race Moundsy tomorrow, as she calls her, and Pickpocket will race next Saturday. So probably blow him out a little bit Monday or Tuesday. Will blow him out a little bit. So with that, I'm going to let you go. This will be it for the evening. I don't think there's any need for me to give you a big update after JK Victory races. We'll do our videos and do a number of things tomorrow, depending on where I'm going tomorrow, what I'm doing, and what we decide for the rest of the day. I could be at the barn. I think we have to pick that stuff up tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And then be at the barn. I told everybody I want the rest of the horses out. I want to check all equipment cards and all the horses. And hopefully, somebody will answer our prayers and push that rain away, or speed it up or slow it down, one or the other.
You shouldn't have to worry about a hobble rope breaking this.
No, we fixed them all today. We fixed what, 5 sets of hobbles. We'll get through all of them as they start to race. Everybody will have new hobbles. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. No, we didn't have a great day at the track. Not yet, anyway. We had an okay day, but I think looking back, a couple of minor disappointments, but no real shocks. Memory raced great. Spitfire raced great. I'm sure JK Victory will race great. Victory just isn't a stake horse. And then Hallie in the Clouds, I think a break from her is a bit anomalous. I think anybody can see what took place. Just the way it is, that's racing. And Bruno, disappointing, but my answer to Bruno is simple. Find a class for the horse. That's all. Anyway, with that, I'm going to let you go. I will talk to you all very soon. Hopefully, a big weekend ahead. I'm looking forward to Kings County tomorrow. Take care.